You know what disturbs me? The fact that we got our producers there waving his hand at us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, game is ready. Game number 1 in the winner bracket finals.
Man,
Cannot wait
things
to get
escalated
there.
quickly.
Yeah,
I
cannot wait to
mean,
get there.
it would be a little hard pressed. I mean, to say that this isn't. This is the thing. All right, Zeratul is like one of the ultimate X factors in the game, right? I mean, anything is possible with the Zeratul between Void Prism, between what he can pull off, the way he flanks and stuff like that. And Resurgence has a player that can play that, and this is something that we saw a lot of during the first event back in February. So, taking Zeratul off what is considered one of his best, if not the best maps that he can work on, just because he has so much area to work within. I don't blame them at all for taking out Zeratul.
Yeah, you can look at it as a respect ban overall against Zappy, the player there on Resurgence. But that standard Tesla ban coming out as well from this team. And it just seems like although there's been nerves to Tesla already, the balances have been in place. But teams in Southeast Asia, they just still don't want to deal with this hero.
Yeah, it's something that it's kind of a feeling out process. The changes just came in, the balance patch. It's now shorter duration on the shields plus lesser value out of the shield. So, Tassadar still considered a strong hero, but we don't know exactly how strong.
Right.
And there's certain battlegrounds to get more value on. Sky Temple, you got to consider maybe letting him through. Falstad is picked up. You got to assume that Dahaka will be picked up on Resurgence. Malfurion being there seems like a likely choice, but
it depends. Now, the main reason why this matchup is so hyped is because Conbox SE's drafting strategy has always been very flexible. And here they just denied 2 heroes of Resurgence in this one maneuver alone. They banned that Zeratul, they take the Falstad. Resurgence now has got the option of going for global with the Dahaka, or do they want to go for something a little bit closer to home with their Muradin pick later on as well. 2 Warriors, is that too much? A lot of questions needs to be answered here, and they only have 25 seconds, Jay-How.
The thing that I like most is that people are starting to get back on the Muradin train. It was mostly the Eastern Clash where a lot of teams, the Korean teams, were saying, hey, he's still a really good tank. He's also one of the very few warriors that you can run a solo frontline with. He might be the only one. Arthas is really strong, but there's the Dahaka pickup, matching the global. They're picking up Malfurion, one of the best supports. So I like the fact that they're picking up very stable, very strong heroes. They'll draft accordingly afterwards.
All right, here it's possible we may actually see a Goldan getting picked up by Conbox SEA. They have the possible. They actually have a player that can run that hero pretty well. So I'm excited to see if this is going to be the case. A couple of other options include having a strong warrior in the front. They may want to secure a Meridian, like you mentioned. Also, they may want to flex into a Tyrael in the second half, given the fact they've actually run that before. Man, but if I'm Conbox, I'm going Goldan and maybe Oriel right here.
They're obviously spending a lot of time. I'm not as big a fan. I mean, obviously, again, it's one of those things where you play to your strengths. And
right.
Again, this is the winner's bracket. Even if you lose, you still have a way to make your way back. But again, if you get to the grand finals, you have a way to fight back. Muradin, Greymane. Now, Muradin, again, that stalwart on the front line, he can stay on the temple. He can contest it, right? So if you have the temple and you're like, hey, look, we're busy elsewhere, just step on this thing. They can't kill you. So we're gonna try and do something elsewhere. We'll rotate over, help you out in the meantime, and you can get advantage over multiple temples with a hero like that, or you can just be there to hold it down and not give up shots to somebody else.
Possible. Now, on this side for Resurgence, though, they don't want to consider the Lyric. Is it going to get banned out? Possibly just either 1 or 2. Greymane, he is going to suffer at the hand of Arthas, though, if he goes into Worgen form, and that is also a possibility for Resurgence. But this ban, the way Conbox is drafting seems to be pretty open. They are thinking if they want to ban a Rhaegar, or maybe even the Oriel, possibly.
Yeah, you really want to consider the thing about Ariel. So Rhaegar, I'm okay with that ban. It takes away, I know this sounds crazy, it takes away the possibility of Bloodlust, but Rhaegar is able to support a strong divey front line with those chain heals. You want to hit up there. If Greymane goes into Worgen form and he dives in, now all of a sudden you have to prioritize heals as Ariel. Do you support the back line? Do you support the front line? And then we see the ETC ban on the other side, which I like a lot by Conbox, because if you want to go in as Greymane, you don't want to have somebody that can instantly stun you and get blown up. Yes, you have armor, but I'd rather deal with an Arthas to an extent, although Arthas is super, super tanky right now.
Yep. And on this note, though, the ban on the ETC. Very good hero in this patch. Do know we're playing the live patch, which will be the one where the balances have been in place pre-Heroes 2.0. ETC have a lot of armor in this patch. Now, the fact that it's been banned out, it unlocks a few possibility. We may be looking at a Arthas, like we said before, a Leoric, or maybe even looking at a Ethereal Deny. There's also the fact that they can snatch away the Gul'dan if they want to at this phase. It really depends what they want to play.
Yeah, I mean, both teams being very calculated with their decisions. We've seen a lot of use of the timer. Sometimes you can kind of develop strategies. You can kind of develop your rotations, things like that. And you start to hash those out in the middle of it. Tychus, Arthas. Now, Tychus, when I say that Muradin is one of the few heroes that can be a solo warrior on the front line, Tychus is one of the few heroes that says, wait a minute, no, you can't, because he's able to burst people down with his minigun.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, also because there is a lot of crowd control inside Resurgence, and Rhaegar's being taken out. Now, Conbox, if they want to go for a cleanse, I'm afraid they may have to consider other options compared to Auriel Gul'dan here.
Yeah, Auriel Gul'dan, I actually wouldn't mind if they see somebody more on the front line, if this is somebody like a Sonya. I mean, you can have solo laner. You don't have to worry about that. It's just a matter of establishing control of what you want to do in your draft. Again, with Hurricane at level 4 for Sonya, you don't have to worry about the roots as much from Arthas and Malfurion because the huge cooldown reduction on that. They end up going with Ragnaros. Ragnaros over Sonya is a little bit surprising to me.
Ragnaros, Lucio. Okay, Ragnaros and Sky Temple. Well, I guess he kind of negates some of those charges from the temple, but it's not going to be very effective. This is not a Ragnaros map for me.
It's with a lot of the recent Ragnaros nerfs, we don't see him nearly as much, and I think rightfully so. He still brings a lot to the table, but there's just other heroes that tend to bring more or fit into comps differently. But Ragnaros does have the self-sustain. If things get a little bit crazy late game, you lose a boss, you still have Ragnaros to fall back on. Sulfura Smash if you can blow up the kills. You know, you're looking in terms of lockdown right now. Muradin is your only really hard CC, so trying to follow up off that if you're Ragnaros takes really, really good team coordination.
Okay, last pick here for Resurgence.
I'd be okay with Li Ming.
I don't know. They ran 3 warriors just now. Li Ming. Okay, that's a hard one to pull off. But Lucio, Sound Barrier. I think it should still be okay. It's just one big team fight anti-burst that's bought it, and AoE as well. All right, you're right. It's going to be the Li Ming. Li Ming, we've seen CW play this before in the last game, but I don't think he is going to be playing this time round. 2 warriors. It looks possibly that CW will be the Arthas. Dahaka going to Yu Yang. Li Ming will probably be played by Zappy, and Tychus will be played by Capricorn. I think that is the lineup for me, and that explains a lot because Tychus Capricorn, this is one of those heroes that Capri's Tychus. He just is always out of position.
It's something we'll keep an eye on.
Yeah,
we had the pleasure of playing against him yesterday.
Oh, yeah, we did, and also the fact that Tychus range has been nerfed quite a while back, and that is a problem for this. He tends to overextend, so I don't know if this Tychus being on Capricorn is going to work as well as him being on Li Ming. But still very flexible heroes here and players for both sides. Now it looks like we're going into game. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 of your Winter Bracket Finals. On the blue team, we do have Team Conbox SEA. NSJ going to be in the false stats. Zay's on the Grey Main. Eniver on the Ragnaros. Stronger onto the Lucio. Last but not least, go Mur on Muradin.
And on the right side for Resurgence, we are going to see Capricorn on Tychus, CW on Arthas, Yu Yang on Dahaka, Zappy will be on Li Ming, and Julian playing that support role will be on Malfurion.
We saw some really good roots as well from Julian in the last game. They played against, I think it was, hold on, give me a minute here. All right, it was Meowpock in the bottom lane. Good roots coming out, some right clicks as well. But this one here is the tough one for Resurgence. Do they have what it takes to throw Conbox SEA down into the lower bracket? So far, strategy-wise, you're looking at Conbox SEA in the bottom lane already going onto those towers there.
Yeah, and again, this is one of the things with Lucio you can do. You can go down, you can grab. We see this oftentimes. You have a support, you have a strong auto attack hero, somebody that can do good damage early on, and then you have your warrior, and the warrior actually getting grabbed there by Dahaka. But with Lucio, Muradin, he is going to walk away. With Lucio, without that mana pool worry that you have the persistent heals, you can just stay in lane and stay alive. It's really easy, and Murden, obviously, with his trait, not too shabby.
All right, some drag there, but the tower already out of ammo, and looks like they're going to get the gate as well. Top lane, same things happening, but in the Sky Temple, because of the way the maps are, and it looks like the bar is going to be in play. Yu Yang is going to be alive, but not for long. The Haka goes down.
Yeah, just nicely played. I mean, it's very difficult. You see up at the top, you see Ragnaros. Sometimes you'll actually see teams. You'll see Molten Core used a little bit early to just thwart this. And it's something that I think should have been done because you're not really getting good Molten Core value out that early. So you can use that as a defense mechanism. But you can see the struggle of melee heroes against that 3-man comp coming in. Both of them struggled, and I think it's pretty much even the way that was treated. So interesting approach there on the side of Ragnaros.
Okay, it's 1 kill for the side of Conbox SEA, but having a temple on top is going to erase that top 4 so fast. Now we have the Molten Core already on the top lane. Mid lane, Murray's here, just in the temple, summoning up those charges against the mid site for Resurgence, and they're taking a bit of a hit there as well. Molten Core did not really do much against the lasers, by the way.
It doesn't really do too much. You just kind of go the other way. But as you can see, the trade-off here, both teams are just currently casually trading, but this is one of the things that Arthas can do is that he can step in and just kind of stand right on things.
Okay, so Julian top site just completing the temple there. CW very low. They don't have the healer here. Endeavor from the back with the flank. CW dropping very low. Capricorn again moves back. NSJ with the fly in. And Julian not going to be able to save his teammate this time, but the damage though, and Zay's in a lot of trouble. Julian with the root. We see a bit of a borrow from the Haka. Rush Stalker going to be used as well. Yu Yang going in, giving the chase. Julian looking for the entangling root, but he does not have it yet. And it is going to be a 2-for-1 exchange.
Yeah, I think nicely done for both teams there to trade. But as you can see, the blow-up potential for both teams is definitely there. And that's why I think that this will get exciting for these teams to throw down as this goes on.
All right, not sure what's going on there with that screen. It looks like we're actually going for a possible pause. No, all right,
we're good.
All right, we're good. All right, we're going back into this game here. Now, the fact that he had applied the early game pressure in the bottom lane makes sure that when they complete the shrine, or rather the temple at the bottom site, they will be able to do some damage on the meat fort. CW looking for the Howling Blast, but it does not connect. A little bit of a waste there.
Li Ming continuing to try and land those shots, but as you can see, both teams going with the strategy of trying to grab the siege camps, get a little bit of early push. The thing about the bottom lane being opened up is that if you take a look at the long-term macro strategy, it opens up the bottom lane. It also opens up for the bottom temple, which will be the next one as Falstad gets rooted there. Got to be careful. The next temple will be at the bottom. The first shots will go onto that well. If you have that well advantage, you can sustain in a team fight much, much longer. So it works out in your advantage if you can get that.
All right, Resurgence rotating away from the bottom side, completing the push a little bit too early. We still have the temple spawning in just under a minute now. And they're going to do the Bruiser Camp a bit too slow on this rotation. Not sure if they're going to be able to make it back to the bottom side in time. And they don't have the healing well here to tap on. That is the major difference in the next phase of this game.
Yeah, it makes it very tough. The one thing that Resurgence is doing, they're just going through this, is they recognize. So grabbing the camp at the top left early for Conbox worked out because they know that a lot of teams try and prioritize grabbing the camp around the second temple phase. Resurgence slow to rotate. They're just now grabbing it. And you instantly push in. And now you have yourself an experience advantage and more map control. So things definitely working out in favor of Conbox when it comes to that macro strategy.
Yeah, and at the mid lane now, you have Ragnar just sitting in the bush soaking. Resurgence moves down. Both of the global heroes are still on top. And it looks pretty possible that they will not join this fight unless absolutely necessary. Julian comes in, lands a scouting drone. Stronger looking to take that one out. Will do so successfully.
One of the interesting things is when you do run into this strategy is that if you've already taken out the top lane and you put early pressure, getting that camp, unless it's a long-term strategy, if you're going up against another global, it doesn't push into a fort. It takes a long time to get to the keep. So you can be cleared up a little bit easier. You don't get as much value. Falstad's going to be up there. Dahaka, look for him to possibly make the rotation down, but I think Conbox just going to play it safe and walk away. And I think right now what they're doing has been really well done.
All right, both sides still not level 10 yet. Dahaka mid lane. Looks like he's in a bit of a fix there. All right, the drag onto the gray main. And the flank coming in. The roots connect onto Zays. And Never with a bit of a boost on the movement speed. Giving the gray main there. Murr already without the dwarf toss. But still no Howling Blast from CW already being used just now. Level 10 hit by Conbox SEA, JL.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be where things start to open up. The heroics are pretty standard across the board. When it comes to that shrine control, you have to assume that Mighty Gust, or not shrine control, the boss control, things are going to be in favor of Falstad. So if we see fights start to break out around there, heroics are going to be a big factor. Dahaka is going to be the main person, but we'll also see how well Malfurion can be on the cleanses if that comes into play. A lot at stake, I think, for both these teams. It seems like they want to be aggressive, but they don't want to pull the trigger yet because they have a respect for their opponent.
Yeah, you can tell a lot of respect from both sides. Muradin, aggressive invasion as CW out of position. And the damage Sulfurus comes down, not being very effective, but he's still going to hold the front a little bit with Army of the Dead. Not for long, though, will go down. And Conbox SEA finds themselves with a boss opportunity if they can pick up this Siege Giants.
Tychus not here. I'm a little bit surprised they're being as aggressive as Resurgence. They're continuing to poke, and they have poke with Li Ming. It's just you got to be very careful that they don't get dove upon. A lot of heroics were used between Sulfurous Smash and that Go for the Throat, so there's not as much to worry about there. But they played it safe. The camp was stolen by Conbox. Again, I think right now what Conbox is doing is really, really well done.
Yeah, very nice and clean execution there. Capricorn coming in. Dahaka from behind, though. CW giving chase onto Lucio. And Ever in a bit of a bad spot. The drag goes in and the burst will go out. And down goes the Ragnaros. The sound barrier completely whiffed there.
Yeah, a little bit of mistiming, miscommunication, and getting caught out there by Ragnaros. And those are moments you can't really give up. The fact that you have two global heroes, I don't think this is as big a deal, but generally when you have top-bottom temples, the boss is always a threat. So you always want to keep an eye on that bottom temple. You don't want to show too many people here. If you can get Dahaka to the top lane, that would be great. Instead, we see Dahaka in the bottom.
Yeah.
With a lot of people top. I'm curious if we're going to see a play. I think Greymane might have started the boss already, or they're looking for a fight.
They're looking for a fight.
Okay. When you see Dahaka, you can basically force a 5-on-4 towards the boss. It's something that you can kind of force the rotation off of the top temple. Again, it's a little bit more difficult to pull off. I'm surprised they didn't even try it, especially with Dahaka showing so hard at the bottom.
Yeah, they're not. They just want to play safe here. A lot of respect for both sides. You still see the charges completing here from Mur on the bottom temple. Very well done. CW also trades. They're just trading temples here. But you're right, Jay-How. The boss opportunity is a win condition open. And as long as there's a fort standing for the side of Conbox SEA, that will not be easily achieved.
It's also more difficult because you got a hero called Ragnaros, which will help defend quite a bit. But again, it's moments like that. It's, do you want to make the aggressive play? Do you want to try and do that? Speaking of aggressive play, Mir coming in on the backside. Malfurion is caught. The roots are going to go down. They're going to lock in Murden. Sulfurous Smash completely with it, but Julian trying to walk away.
All right, a fight on the other side. Sound barrier going in. Zay's dropping very low. CW pulling back out, but gonna be able to stay alive. The Army of the Dead for just a little bit longer. And then we have also the regrowth. And the fight still goes on. Zapping with those bursts. The gust comes out. Mur pops Avatar. Julian and Malfurion is playing like he's a melee hero. The roots connect as well. Mur jumps to the boss, and the fight will continue on.
Man, those tanks are tanky between Arthas and Murd, and neither one of them wanted to go down. But with a 5 versus 4 advantage, they're now looking to posture up on the boss. Mighty Gust was used at the top there, but it looks like they found Dahaka up at the top, who's going to go burrowing down. We'll see if he gets taken down, and he is somehow still alive right now, Babel.
How is he doing this? Mur is down.
Oh,
we see Ragnar's Molten Core, but no Sulfurous Smash. Stronger pulling back. The burst coming in.
They could just walk up, and they're just going to play it safe. Health pool's not that high.
Yep.
Although they are positioning themselves still very far forward.
Yeah, it's because Julian, he's completely out of mana, if you will.
They're going to get collapsed upon.
Uh-oh, this is not a good option. Zappy has to pull back. They really want to take this fort at his moment. Stronger comes in, and they got the flank going on. Yeah, we have the Tychus in place with Odin. CW dropping a little bit. No mana on Julian. I repeat, no mana. He gets smashed. Boom, baby. A Capricorn in a bad spot. That was desperation. Panic button, you call it, you name it. It's 4 men down on Resurgence.
This is going to be a boss play. I don't know if there was some miscommunication there on Dahaka on, hey, I don't have Brush Stalker available. There was no way he'd join the fight. And it would have been a 5-on-4, but he did not have his global available to him. So very surprising, that call. They got away with getting a kill. Ragnaros used Molten Core on your side of the map. You could have collapsed, but you said, hey, we don't have enough help. So you push it on the fort on the enemy team side and get flanked.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for me there was just that the support player has got no mana. But this wasn't communicated clearly. They have a boss because 2 Siege Giants, Conbox SEA with 1 Talent tier up, threatening the bottom keep. And Mur in the mid lane there on the temple, channeling those charges against the meat keep as well. It was a pretty even game until that point. Yu Yang buying some time here, but he maybe needed to go down. The rotation coming for him, the Brush Stalker, not gonna use it, adaptation already being popped. And Zaze, man, Yu Yang in a bad spot will go down. Again, 9 versus 4 in terms of kill count.
Conbox is starting to open this map up, and when you get this big of a lead, you grab the boss, you're getting kills. Now you're getting mad temple value. So you now are into a point to where now you are in complete control. You dictate all terms of the map from here on out. Falstad helps that because of his Mighty Gust. Things don't look good. Mighty Gust away. Wait for the next temple phase. You now have a structure advantage. You're going to be able to fight over the bottom. Dahaka should have his Brush Stalker. Malfurion is mid, however. So Resurgence not yet posturing up because they don't have 16.
Yeah.
Curious if they're going to try and fight the bottom temple, which I think they almost have to do at this point.
Oh, they just want to get at 16 first, and it's not going to be soon. TM. I think the temple is going to go down before 16's hit.
They're not even posturing. They're just going to let it go. So now they've lost a keep. The middle keep has lost a significant amount of health. I don't think it should go down. Actually, it's getting dangerously close to going down. This might secure.
I think it is maybe 1%. There we go.
Oh, man. All right, so next temple, unless it's top, we'll confirm that. But you're now in a bad spot. Yu Yang getting very far forward, but I like the call from Conbox. There's no need to be aggressive there. There's absolutely no need. If you can get a pick, great. And speaking of picks, Capricorn got to be very careful with his positioning.
All right, he pops it. Oh, Sulfurus smash directly on top, and he gets deleted. Julian there, a little bit slow. The Twilight Dream pulling back once again. Here comes NSJ, they're cleaning up the back line. And again, the fight splits into 2 directions, but we still have Mur alive somehow. Yu Yang and CW just going half there. Li Ming goes down as well. That is 3 men now looking at a possible 4th and even the 5th, but no, Dahaka still alive, and he goes down. It's a 5-man team wipe. Conbox SEA marching on the core. One critical mistake, and that's what it took for Resurgence to lose this one.
I am absolutely in love with the calls of Conbox. They are making the right calls at the right time and the right rotations. No hesitation in the game like we've seen some previous teams already. But these teams, Conbox, they were ready to throw down Babel, and I think that they just made a huge statement in game number 1.
They did. They're here to prove a point that they're still the best around. You guys got lucky because we weren't playing together in the last qualifier. That's not going to happen here. Mid Season Brawl, very big tournament. They want to qualify for it. Represent Southeast Asia. You just saw them do that with style just now. But back again to that critical mistake on that bottom fort. Man.
That was the moment it all changed. Now, if you think long term, again, prioritizing the bottom lane and then putting that pressure on that bottom lane opened up that second temple phase. And at that point, it got a little bit out of control, but not bad. Yeah. But it set up the pacing for the next part of the game. So despite the experience being even and structures relatively even, Conbox actually generated momentum there, and they opened things up. So they forced Resurgence to play their game at that point. And again, all things even at that point, but it seemed like they were in control. The minute they got that pick, Resurgence, instead of just opting to turn and fight, I don't understand the rotation down. And then Dahaka didn't have his global available, so it's still 4v4. You're already low on health.
And mana.
And so you just get collapsed upon for, what, 30% of a fort to confirm the fort kill? It was just a very questionable call, and at that point, Conbox is just like, well, that's game. Any good team, after that moment, will realize that they are in complete control, can do whatever they want, and win the game. And Conbox did that, except they were very aggressive about it on that last team fight by catching Tychus out.
I feel that it's also because of the fact that the fort was so low. Resurgence probably thought that it could go in and clean it up pretty well. But regardless of what it is, that call itself, with the respawn on Falstad coming back into the fight so fast, you have to always ask yourself, what is the possibility there? By the way, we got some highlights ready from the match just now. So here we go into some of the best plays we had from game number 1. And this is the moment we all talked about. Look at Julian's mana, completely empty. Zappy still healing up. We regrow. Stronger leads the front. They don't have a tank, but they don't care. The damage on the Zappy just so much. CW taking a lot of beating from that Great Main Burst just now. Sulfurus came down, deleted 2 people. And Capricorn, although he does have the Odin, it is not going to be enough here.
It's just, this was the moment the game changed. You lose 4 people, and we just see Dahaka right there. He's just kind of isolated at the top. Like, I wish I could join you, you know, but I'm just going to hang out here in the top lane for a while. So good luck, guys. I mean, at that point, we're looking at a 2-level lead. And then right here, this smash, the stun, and the Sulfura smash just dropping bombs on him. Greymane says, thanks for the kill. I'm going to pad my stats based on your work. I love it.
It's the synergy is so good. Zace, Enever, they both have a clear understanding what they want to do there. Mur's still surviving this. This is my personal favorite here. You know, he is still just
watch the Storm Bolt on his way out.
Who says he can't land Storm
Got
Bolt?
him.
Oh man, figured out. So here we have 19 against 16, and they won the game. Very clear, decisive march to victory for Conbox SCA. Resurgence on the flip side, though, they had a pretty even game. It was just one bad decision that caused them it. And this is the level we're looking at for both of these teams. It's common between some of the top Korean teams as well, where one small little mistake, one bad call, that's all it takes.
It always goes back to a moment to where these happen, and pro players know this. Is like, and that's why you see sometimes really aggressive maneuvers, but it takes a very high skill level to pull them off. I remember sitting with Dunk Train. It was like August or something. We're 7 minutes into the game. There was a kill. There was like a 1.5 level lead. He just, that's game. And pro players will recognize these moments. Is the minute you take control. I mean, we actually saw Conbox start to back off that top fight, but then they just hid in the bush. Like, wait, what if somebody tries to come through here? They did. Tychus did. He's trying to use his minigun. You can't move an auto attack, so you're trying to get value out of that trait.
Yep.
And Sulfura Smash is like, I love people that stand still. Here's a big hammer for you. So it just blew up from there.
Oh man, that's a heavy hammer. All right, so we are now going into Towers of Doom. Resurgence is pretty good in this map, but we just saw what Conbox SEA has to offer, and my headsets are flipping off. I have no idea why. I mean, slipping off.
They're overrated. You don't need it.
I thought my head was big enough, but it's not. It's disappointing. All right, so we have Towers of Doom. We were talking about this before. This is a battleground for Resurgence, and Conbox SEA picked it. I am just open here. I think they're going to ban a Zeratul again.
I think Zeratul, again, with Zeratul, anything is possible. So if you just take Zeratul out of the equation, you just there's certain teams that will do this in all regions. They're like, look, we don't want any funny business. We just don't want to deal with stuff like Zeratul. We don't want anything weird. We'll play you straight up. Your best versus our best. And Conbox is just confident that they don't need any of that weird stuff, and they're just going to – I would not be surprised. And Zeratul on this map does well again, so we'll see.
Okay, so we do have some updates, by the way, from the games in the lower bracket. Round 1, Inquisition versus Pagey. It's currently 1-0 in favor of Inquisition. The map that was played was Inferno Shrines, and I think we all know how good Kevin's Kerrigan is on that battleground. Waiting for the update on the second match. That's between Meowpock as well as Geishas. Don't you love it, Southeast Asia? Weird team names, Meowpock, Geisha, whatever we want, it's all there.
The little thumbnail, because I'm American, right? And I'm not as familiar with certain things that look like a dog and like a little sweater. And I was like, wait a minute. Because it's like so small. And I was
that's
like,
the team logo.
It's the dog and the geisha.
Yeah, and it's...
I like it.
Oh, man, it's insane. All right, the update here is Meowpock versus Geisha. Game number 1 still ongoing. And waiting for the update on the possible... game 2 here for Conbox versus Resurgence, but that game number 1 was so close in the beginning. I just feel like sometimes you have to make sure you make the right play at the from the beginning. The fact that you're pushing the bottom, it's a good strategy. Pushing top is fine as well. They have the top advantage, but the fact that they did not utilize those bruiser camps to get even more value out of it. In fact, we saw how Conbox reacted to that. They went for those bruiser camps 2 times. Both times, Falstad was there. He's soaking, he's pushing, he's making sure that he maintained the lane pressure against Dahaka. Okay, so Falstad, although, is a great hero, he cannot really solo a bruiser camp, right? So the team backed him up on that. But on the other side for Resurgence, we only saw 1 time, and that's when they already lost the bottom temple. They know they're not going to fight. They're not 10. They go back up. They pick up the camp. But there is no follow-up from there.
It was tough. If you don't have a global matching you in that top lane, it all of a sudden becomes a huge threat.
Yeah.
But the minute you have somebody there and it's Falstad, you're like, well, I mean, I'd love to do more with this. We already gave up a ton in the bottom lane. I'd love to join you guys, but if I don't get value out of this, then we just gave up a bunch for nothing.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't It wasn't anything groundbreaking.
It wasn't.
And there's moments that if you finish that, we saw both teams go for the siege camp bottom. If you want to make a play to neutralize that bottom lane, you have to hard aggress into that bottom. Then we saw Resurgence. They were slow to their rotation top. Conbox was one step ahead of their opponents from the very first start of the game. Despite it looking even, they controlled the pace. That's why I think Sky Temple, when it comes to macro strategies, if you can win the macro game, you can really put pressure on your opponent. And then I think that when you have that type of control, when you have that type of lead, it gives you confidence to make the right plays. And I think Conbox pulled that off perfectly.
They did. Which is why, again, this is a strong team. And now that this is happening, you gotta just. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of good games today. That's all I can say, guys. I hope you can stay with us all the way throughout for that. So we're waiting for game number 2 now, and it seems like there's a bit of a delay. Let me just give you a bit of an insight into what's happening in the background. We are having a bit of a spike here, and the way we're figuring out is that there's a lot of server, right? So we cannot manually select the server or the game that's being played on the server, like little pockets, I don't know, ports, whatever you call it. So they're creating lobbies to make sure that this connection is stable. Then they will give us the game. So that process is taking a little bit of time. Hopefully.
You get the spike and the wave.
You get a spike and a wave.
Spike and a wave. It's our new nickname, Spike and Wave.
I thought we had a man show.
I mean, I guess. We're whatever we want to be.
Oh, man, you're such an inspiration.
I mean, I really feel like we can make a lot happen.
Oh. Well, when you're at 198, I'm sure you can.
198 centimeters. For anybody watching back in North America, they're talking about centimeters.
Yeah. Sorry. Here we are all meters and centimeters. It's like in the whole world, America's the only country that goes weird. And I'm saying this because I'm basing it on the fact you have like what, feet and foot, and then we don't really have that. You have like miles per hour. We have kilometers per hour, which is what Europe uses as well.
Do you think
China uses as well?
In North America,
Russia uses as well. I don't know, man. You guys want to be special?
Okay, so you said you're the only country that's weird. What if we're the country that looks and said you're the only world that's weird?
Well, if you are...
Same thing. Look, I don't have any answers. I just know it works. And if anybody's watching back home in North America and you say 198 or 1.98,
yeah, 1.98.
They got to know it's centimeters.
Yeah, 1.98. Fine, 1.98.
Else they're just thinking, is this the address?
Oh, yeah. You're right. It's not easy. That's my bad. I take that. But it's 198 for me. I don't care. I don't care. That's how we roll. You're in my country.
That's fine. I love it. I love everything. This Singapore, for anybody that's not been here, this is a beautiful, beautiful city.
It is. It is.
Like I got to walk around. Like I got in late Thursday night, so I had Friday off.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked around. This place is gorgeous.
It's an expensive place though. Really expensive.
Yeah, that's why I think I had like coffee for lunch.
Coffee.
I had coffee. I don't know. Something. I had ramen for lunch.
I can tell you that the cars here are probably worth your houses back there.
I don't know. The thing is, since we have a moment while we're getting the lobby ready,
yeah, we are.
I got picked up from the airport.
Okay.
I went to get in the passenger seat, and there was a steering wheel there, and I was really confused. I didn't know. I've never been to a country where they drive on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
So naturally, I go to get in on that side of the car and found out there's a steering wheel. I'm like, I'll just go to the other side.
I think we are the only two country in this region, Malaysia and Singapore, that has got that right side driving. Same as Hong Kong too. China is on the left, and you guys are on the left.
I'm on your left right now too.
You're on my left.
Yeah.
That's why. You want to be the driver in your own terms. I want to be the driver in my own terms. It's
so
like,
who's driving right now?
I don't know, man. This is automatic piloting system, something like that. Who's driving the show? Are we lost? All right, so we're still waiting for the lobby, in case you're wondering, and the players are just slowly going into the lobby already. But I want to talk about the Ragnaros, by the way, Jay How. Do you think that it's something that Resurgence cannot cope with, or it's something that that they should ban?
Ragnaros is at a point right now to where he feels balanced, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a few moments where like, all right, Molten Core too strong. Sulfura Smash too strong. They bumped up Sulfura Smash. It's no longer on such a short cooldown. It seemed like it was there for every single team fight, and now it's a little bit longer. So I like the fact that they've made a lot of changes to Ragnaros. They made a lot of changes to his 13, which seemed to somehow make him unkillable at times. Don't stun Ragnaros because you can't kill him, So it seems like they've done a really good job balancing him. We've seen Sonya with a few buffs. Now we see Sonya kind of taking that role, but he still fits that off melee role. Instead of having somebody like Thrall up there, you can go with Ragnaros, get some different value, things like that. So you kind of have like this trifecta. Unless you want to go like a secondary warrior, you kind of have this assassin role that you can play. You can go into flex into another tank. So there's a lot you can do on the front line, I think, to work around that. Ragnaros kind of fits into that pool of heroes that fits into that secondary frontliner.
It is. It's going to be fun. Now, we are having a bit of a delay here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the brackets for you guys again with some updates possibly in today's show. So the brackets are we're looking at Conbox SCA and Resurgence 1-0 on top. Currently below Inquisition 1, PG 0 as well. And Meowpaw Geisha is still in game number 1. It's surprising that it's gone on for so long. It shouldn't be that close.
Close for who? You think Meowpork or Geishas is pulling that off?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. That's like hotter than saying Conbox or Resurgence is going to win. It should be Meowpaw. It should be Meowpaw that should be winning that one, I feel like. But I kind of want Resurgence to win.
I don't want to be overly critical.
I kind of want Geishas to win.
Meowpork versus Resurgence. Meowpork, they had some studying to do, man. If you guys missed series number 1, Resurgence just was like,
it's like for this region, it's just that there's Resurgence, Conbox SCA, then I was there, then everyone else is kind of like in their own.
So it's kind of like NA and then all the other regions, right?
It's kind of like all the other regions and then NA. Okay, we're below NA.
Oh man,
we're below NA.
That's the cue right there. The laughter.
I'm not sure if we're ready to go in though. Okay, so we're not. I did not laugh like that, guys. That wasn't me.
I talk about NA being top, and we just hear this laughter. The timing, they're like, yeah, okay. Even the game knows.
Yeah, even the game knows. I don't mean to disrespect North America. Of course, it's a big region, and you guys got some really good players. BlizzCon Champions 2015, I was there. It's great. It's a great region.
Do you know how many BlizzCon Championships North America has?
You mean in which
Reasonably
game?
One, right?
One out of 2.
Do you know how many Europe has?
0.
Oh, I didn't know. I was just asking.
Not there yet. Not there
know.
yet. But what happened in the Western Clash, man? It was all Europe on top. You guys gonna stop up a game?
Forget now.
Oh, forget now.
A year and a half ago. It's all about BlizzCon Championships. Just ask Twitch chat.
Twitch chat knows best, as some would say. But still, I'm excited for the plans this year. We're gonna Mid Season Brawl. That's like a mini BlizzCon by its own right. All right. I know that to people like Jay Howe, it probably don't matter because it's still not a BlizzCon title. That's what he's trying to tell you.
Last year's, I guess what would have been the summer global championship. My goodness, that was probably like one of the most exciting finals.
It is,
and exciting final days, but the exciting finals I think anybody's probably ever seen.
Dude, my point here is even if Europe wins the Mid Season Brawl, you're gonna say that that's not a BlizzCon title. It doesn't count.
I mean, that's accurate.
It is to a certain extent, but the fact that we've got so many different global championships happening twice this year, in fact, one in the Mid Season Brawl, that's like the one I was talking about. It's probably gonna happen. We don't know where yet. I don't know. I don't think it's been announced, but
the Mid Season Brawl.
Yeah,
DreamHack Sweden.
Okay, DreamHack Sweden. I would expect pretty much the same as last year, but DreamHack Sweden, that's where it is, and I'm excited for that, man. $250,000 on the line, and the fact that every region gonna meet with each other again. SCA finally can try and hope to beat NA.
So we're 10 months in, right? 10 months since the last DreamHack Summer. Remember PBA took down Galeforce? Galeforce comes in. They were riding as hot as any team in Europe and North America. They just came out of nowhere in April. They dominated people. They sent Cloud9 packing. And they started to take over North America.
They did.
Them and Aventic. And then they walk up and they dropped a PBA. So, the smaller regions might not necessarily like pop out to you as much, but then PBA showed up at BlizzCon. They're like, hey, look, we can still make waves.
And it's good reason for that. Because the way the servers have been allocated, right? You have China and its own little black hole. Then you have like Korea with Taiwan, and that's like two regions, one server. They scream each other, they draft against each other, practice together, and then you got sad people like Southeast Asia, who is not in Asia, and we are like I don't know how that works by the way, but we have
Southeast
our own
Asia,
server.
not in Asia.
Yeah, we have our own server. We don't the ping here to Asia is so high, but some teams they still go through that 180 ping just to scream some Asian teams. But it's hard. It's really life is hard here in Asia. In case you don't already know,
We're talking about how beautiful Singapore is.
it's expensive.
It's still
I
beautiful.
cannot afford it. So we have I have a big problem here with the way the Eastern and Western Clash being set up. I love the fact that they have like two small little areas competing with each other. Sorry, falling off again. But but we feel in Southeast Asia that we're slightly better than North America. We've been trying to prove that. We felt 3 times already, but we still want like to try.
I don't know if you're being serious.
I am actually being serious.
Okay, go on. I'll listen.
All right, so the thing here is that unfortunately we've been matched up with monsters in the Eastern Clash, and it's
Okay, so you're talking
Not
about
gonna be
you
easy.
felt that way for a while, or you felt that way in the last like couple months because you don't play North America?
yeah, we don't play North America at all. Twice a year probably now, compared to 3 times last year.
By the way, I think we're good to go.
Are we? Are you telling me to stop complaining?
I'm telling you to stop being delusional.
Stop being delusional. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to game number 2, Towers of Doom now. Conbox SCA and Resurgence, man, we were.
Hold on, wait. Do you think if we come up with like a talk show, it'd be called like
Babel's problems with
Babel's
this world.
Babbles?
Babel's Babbles. I like that. We had Babel's Bagels back then.
Right, but it'd be a
about to
talk
run
show.
FNB shop.
Babel's Bagels.
And what you're
Wouldn't
gonna
make sense for a
we-
talk
We'll
show.
have Jay on the show. He's gonna put me in place and say, dude, that's how the way the world works. All right, Resurgence, first pick. We have some updates, by the way, from the other games that we're gonna give you in just a bit. But here, Towers of Doom, first pick and first ban. I don't think that the biggest question here is Conbox SCA going to ban a Zero Tool again in Towers of Doom, a map the Resurgence has been known to run this. They take out the Lucio. All right.
Okay, so taking out the Lucio, and if you ban Zeratul, which they are instantly doing, I love what Conbox is doing. You've now opened the door. So here's the thing for Resurgence. Do you prioritize a global? Do you prioritize Arthas or Malfurion? Or are you afraid of giving up TAS Vala or TAS anything? We haven't seen Zarya. Zarya just received a few changes as well. How much do these teams prioritize these heroes now? After the recent balance patch, you run into the issue of this used to be, okay, with banning these heroes, not taking in the shielding heroes off, you know what to expect. But now, we're going to see how much they value them.
Okay, Gray Main.
Interesting.
All right. Interesting. First pick on the Gray Main. They decided that the Ragnaros wasn't a problem, the Gray Main was, and they're going to go for that. Very much respectable. I like the fact that Conbox SCA is just respecting Zeppy so much on his Zeratul with the first ban. But here, it opens up a lot of options. Like you mentioned, the Tesla Zarya, is it still going to be an option here for Conbox SCA? Is it still viable? Falstad obviously does so well here in this game. So with the fact that we've seen Guildforce pull off a really good Mighty Gus, I think that was last year. And it started a trend for something really, really evil within.
Yeah, the meta right now is probably about as deep as it's ever been. You've got heroes like Greymane, who's maybe a little bit over-prioritized, but we're going to make sure and lock it in. But Muradin and Malfurion, this has just been a staple. Malfurion been, kind of at the top of the sports for a while. Muradin kind of goes in and out depending on where other warriors are around him, but he's kind of always been that same really strong warrior on the front line. With Greymane already there, you don't necessarily worry as much about another auto-attack hero, but...
Yep. I don't know.
It's great control.
Maybe we'll see Lily here. I say that because there's a little bit of burst in the side of Resurgence, and if they really want to take out... Malfurion's inherent weakness is the fact that he's not an anti-burst healer. So you normally want to play with secondary support probably to keep that anti-burst going on, and it's been the burst meta for the longest possible time here in Southeast Asia. So having a Greymane picked up already, is Resurgence going to double down on that, or are they going for more consistent DOT type of damage? That stands for damage over time, by the way. For
I'm with it. More dots.
You're sorry, with what?
More dots.
More dots. Yeah, dots. DOT.
The old Warcraft, World of Warcraft.
All right, so Falstad ETC getting picked up. Some global there for Resurgence. Now, because it's a Muradin, they probably want to ban out the Dahaka as well to minimize the global effect in here. Resurgence with Falstad. So far, still very high win rate in this qualify. 100%, in fact, with Falstad on Resurgence.
Well, they're going to be a much tougher test here against Conbox.
Yeah. It's also the first time both of these teams are meeting, actually, so that's why we're also excited about it.
Yeah, so for people wondering, ETC obviously fell off just a little bit, and his win rate plummeted with his changes as well. Since then, we saw a little bit of a buff to his health pool, so he has come back around to a certain extent. We're going to see how well they can play him. You can kind of set up a lot of kills. Falstad, Greymane, I mean, you have great burst potential, good follow-up, but they're going to need more than that. And, you know, we're hitting our second ban phase. Muradin, Malfurion, what do they not want to deal with? They already have 2 damage dealers. They're going to go Kerosene.
Respect ban again against Julian. Some say the God Palm.
I kind of wonder if they're considering a solo frontline Muradin. Is that if you go Kerosene, you might just say, we don't want 7-sided Strength going against this.
It could be that as well. It could be that. We've actually seen that happen in Korea, HGC Korea recently, where Hide with the 7-sided strike took out Noblesse Muradin single-handedly.
Maybe the influence from other regions is weighing on me right now, but maybe taking Kerosene away, if you're thinking long-term, you have that solo frontline, you might be going something like Valera to go and pick on Falstad, who can pop in and out on this battleground. We've seen it in some other regions. I don't know. Conbox, again, I only have so much data to go off of with Conbox.
They ran Valera last weekend, so it's possible. But is this the right battleground for Valera? That's the other question then.
It depends. Dahaka hasn't been picked up. So if you go Dahaka, you now have Falstad versus Dahaka. So then you have that extra person on the front line. So you probably move towards more ranged. So do you want to match the global? There's Tassadar.
All right.
Okay.
So that's the anti-burst there.
That is heavy front line between Arthas and Murd. Okay. But Tassadar Malfurion will keep somebody alive. You are now going to rely on one person to be dealing a large portion of your damage. And Vala's already taken off the board. Falstad, Greymane aren't there. Raynor's not going to be the answer. Zul'jin comes to mind. Okay. And potentially Cassia.
They're going Lily.
Resurgence is?
Yeah,
I would.
I would.
You can run double support here. You get decent damage. You're not really doing a whole lot to Murd and Arthas, but whoever is going to be pairing up with Tassadar, if it's not an auto attack hero, then it's going to be a little bit awkward. Because Tassadar value will go down significantly.
Yeah.
But Conbox, their damage is just
sad.
It's going to be interesting to see how aggressive they want to be. They can pretty much walk into any team. But again, the Tassadar shield changes are enough to make you raise a question.
Okay, Leoric Rhaegar instead, so they decide to play it safer. And it's Tracer.
Well,
Lily would do so good here. I'm just going to say that.
I said they're going to rely on one person to do a lot of damage because they're sitting on Muradin, Arthas, Tassadar. Tassadar's not lighting up the numbers. Muradin can do a little bit. I mean, you got to assume at this point he'll go Skullcracker and potentially give him the exit 16. Arthas isn't necessarily lighting up the numbers. And when it comes to getting that burst damage, that really big damage, Tracer doesn't really scream to me.
It isn't.
The thing, the Kerosene ban makes a lot more sense because if you pulse bomb somebody, you don't want to have the palm on them and then negate all the damage. But you are now relying on a solo Tracer to really, and your backline damage is non-existent. Tracer is not a backline hero. Tassadar is your backline hero. I'm not saying it can't work, but you're putting all your eggs in one basket, and sometimes that's tough. And you have ETC on the other side. If you can land an appropriate power slide onto Tracer, you have Greymane and Falstad that can lock and kill her down.
Yep. Also the fact that I think it's only the Malfurion Twilight Dream or maybe the Muradin, if his position is good, to try and disjoin the mosh pit. But this drop here, man. feels a little bit too greedy for me.
It's just so much onto one hero. And I like the fact that we are seeing. Actually, I take that back. I would have loved to have seen Seasoned Marksman build out of Falstad. You can go the Hammering build because you're going to have plenty of targets to hit on the front line between Arthas and Muradin, but you have to hope that you get the lockdown power slide onto Tracer, else getting those blow-up kills isn't going to be there. Returning auto attack damage against Tracer is actually one of the really strong ways to deal with it.
All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 just began. 24 seconds in, and we're splitting the sides already. Falstad going up to the top lane. Mur coming in a little bit aggressively against CW. He's going to be fine. Zaze, though, just playing that Tracer. Man, Zaze is the other top player in this region that you're going to keep your eye out for. Really good plays.
I mean, Zaze pulls this off. I mean, you're going to rely on Muradin, of course, to make plays. So Mur on Muradin.
Yep.
Makes it easy.
Correct.
But you are putting so much onto Zaze. If he pulls it off, man, I'll be impressed.
It really depends on what's the angle that he's going to come in with. There's so much crowd control on the side of Resurgence. I don't think Entomb is going to really do much here. Probably just block out the Arthas, block out the Muradin a little bit. Damage there going against a little bit strong, but Zaze is already dropping so much health. Makes you wonder.
Yeah, again, a true power slide as the Dwarf toss over. Leoric, he does not have his Wraith Walk. He is going to drain some life there. There's going to be the first kill of the game.
Very nice pick out there from Zaze. Some good rotations coming in. Altus going to spawn in just under 20 seconds now. And Leoric, because he doesn't need to come up from the gates again, is actually pretty good in his background.
Yeah, he'll just be lurking the entire time.
Okay, so far nothing too special is happening. 6 seconds before we see the Alta come out. And Leoric again just taking a lot of free damage from Zaze. They split the sides pretty well. We have Greymane not really contesting that mid area. And it looks like Conbox going to have the slight early game lead in terms of core health here.
That was anticlimactic first altar phase, if I've seen one. But so the 4 core health lead, Conbox, again, very early, not that big of a deal, but
yep.
I gotta see this game play out. It's like I wish I could fast forward right now instead of rewind Tracer style.
To really find out what's the plan here, right? Whew. Well, it looks like Resurgence has got to be a lead there, though. They've been soaking lane a little bit better. Wave clear on the side of Conbox, not so good, but they want to pick up the fight. Stronger walks in like a boss. Julian, he gets a bit of a damage there on that side. Still gonna go down at the end. Zaze going in some right clicks there. And Capri swings by. Yu Yang dropping so low. Zaze just fires away. He doesn't care. And Capri also gonna go down. Zaze is carrying his team so hard on that Tracer.
Conbox has so much. Stronger's like, look, I'm Malfurion. I'm just going to walk onto this, and I'm taking it. I got faith the rest of my team's going to go kill you. I don't.
It's interesting.
The lack of. Because you could see the effectiveness of the auto attacks from Falstad onto Tracer as Yu Yang taking a bit of damage there. Power slide in, that's a mistake.
All right.
I don't really understand that power side, but I hope he understands a little bit better now from the graveyard.
From the graveyard on Towers of Doom. So 2 Altas spawning right here. Still half a level lead here for Conbox SE. Are they going to play aggressive and invade the Alta on the side of Resurgence? It just feels like the draft towards the end didn't work out for me. Leoric, Rhaegar. And then maybe too early to say this, but they probably didn't know it was going to be a Tracer.
But still, like, if I see Tracer, I'm okay with that. I'm more than okay with that.
Yeah.
Zaze diving in. As you can see, Falstad interrupted the top left altar, but now they're being collapsed upon. Leoric is going to Wraith Walk away. But now the focus on the backside. The Pulse Bomb is in. Capricorn goes down.
CW missing the Drain Hope. Will go down as well. 2 men down on the side of Resurgence, and something just tells me this is just outplay.
A little bit. I mean, Conbox just doing whatever they want. And Zaze is running rampant.
this does not translate into the lead that they have because of the objective here. 32 against 28, still fairly even, 4-point lead for Conbox SEA. And they're waiting for that level 10 heroic before we can potentially see Resurgence make some play here. But one full level lead it is, and 5 minutes in. Still, the action here has been slow.
They finally are going to get a kill onto Tassadar, who got caught out at the bottom. So a little bit of a silver lining there. We see almost a full level lead in favor of Conbox. They're going to miss out on a little bit of experience bottom, but they're starting to rotate over. Yu Yang looking for some type of help from his team, but Tracer's going to rotate up. They're just putting the pressure on them. Level 10, dangerously close for Conbox.
Yeah. Next Alta should be a single Alta phase. We'll have to see how this works out here. Still one full level lead in favor here for Conbox SEA. Zace goes in, just really tearing down the HP there, especially against heroes like Leoric, who has the Rave Walk, has to stay stationary, taking a lot of damage. And the stun onto the Tracer, but the cleanse immediately comes out. Zace still very much okay.
That cleanse by Stronger will be very, very important as this game goes on. ETC is your only hard CC in terms of locking Tracer down. So the cleanse there, if you can land a cleanse each time that goes out, I mean, obviously cleanse on a much longer cooldown, but Julian probably not making it out alive.
Okay. Missed the bomb, missed everything, still there. They go lands a slow, but at the end of the day...
Oh, his parting gift did not secure the kill.
Okay.
I think he was like, I got this. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Alta spawning, single Alta there. Level 10 just hit by Resurgence. No one died in the fight just now. CW also sidestepping a stun from Muradin. And on top, Alta, you see Falstad rotating down a little bit, waiting for the flyby. Yu Yang already using the power slide, now taking a little bit of damage from that Tracer. Mighty Gust from the backline. Mur will go down first. Tracer a little bit too far out front. You see the Archon coming out. Much of the Black King from Leoric. Not going to see your standard Entomb. CW walk one big round in Ghost form, and he's also going to take the pulse bomb, goes down. Unfortunately, Ancestral connects on his Zappy. The Mosh Pit connects onto 3 in the background there. NSJ, nothing he can do. And Conbox having to pull back out. 2 men down. 3, in fact. They got the Alta, even the lead here.
I love it. I love it. Mosh Pit was there, and the cleanse not able to happen. Outside of interrupts, Twilight Dream and Muradin with the Stormbolt are really all you got. It's really hard when you're caught in it.
Uh-oh. He's not going to be able to slide out that one. CW pulling back again. Don't think there will be a stun for him this time, but we're going to see a pretty even game here. 28 both sides, level 11 as well. And you do have some listeners pushing bottom, but what should Conbox do, Jay-How?
Conbox right now, I think that their approach obviously is to fight with Tracer. And, you know, they've controlled a little bit and they've played off of their kills. But when you don't get kills, you got to start looking for opportunities elsewhere, or you just go in and continue to dive, which is what they're out to fight. I mean, you don't really do a whole lot else with this team.
Yeah. Very bad lane soak, very bad wave clear. Probably just the Arthurs, though. And we're going to see Endeavor for the Howling Blast. They're just picking up targets that cannot run away at this phase. CW going to be fine, but not for long. And the damage still goes through. And no damage there. CW going to be okay.
Getting away just barely. Hardened Bones picked up at level 4, making sure he takes less damage while he's Wraith walking away.
Yep.
Only thing that kept him alive there.
Yeah, good call there. So the Mercenaries in the bottom will clean up pretty well by Conbox SEA, and now Alt's going to pick the own camp. Next phase is a single Alta phase again. Conbox going to have to really laugh at this one here. It's going to work out in their favor really well.
Muradin not going Skullcracker, and there is Tracer. Nice Mighty Gust, but Tracer making her way back, not able to confirm the kill as the barrel roll away by Capricorn, keeping him alive at least for the moment.
Mur jumping onto Zappy. Greymane applying a little bit of pressure onto Muradin. He pops the Avatar already. No drop toss. There goes the Mosh Pit again. Match with Black in the opposite direction. Zappy gets healed back to full HP. Capricorn in the back line. But here comes the Twilight Dream. Mur still alive somehow. And you see Greymane dropping. CW pulling back again. It seems like the combo did not work there for Resurgence. 2-man Howling Blast. And Yu Yang will go down. Julian gets locked down. The root connects. And it's 4 men down on the side of Resurgence. One can only wonder what really happened there.
Well, I tell you what happened. Tracer up at the top was able to dive in. The mosh pit was on. The cleanse was on to Murden, but Murden still got trapped in there. They just didn't have that damage to confirm the kills. And the minute that happened, Tracer just went to town. She literally killed one top, came down and confirmed another. I mean, Zaze is just terrorizing Resurgence right now.
He is. The other funny thing to note is that Murden, 3 hits with Skullcracker. It's a stun.
Yeah, he didn't go Skullcracker.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he went Iron Forge momentum.
Right.
So
you went for a manual stun then. Okay. So that's fine. Oh man, but the mosh pit and Macho Black King stacking up. I thought it was gonna do a lot of work, but in actual fact, no one died from that.
A little bit surprising.
Yeah, you have to give credit to Mur there on Murden, just jumping on the Greymane, making sure that the Greymane does not have the best ability to just play to that advantage of the mosh pit.
All right, just Conbox is making all the right calls and doing whatever they want. ETC and Greymane not quite here. As you can see, Mur trying to knock away Capricorn. The Capricorn has Zaze on top of him. That's a kill. Watch Zaze. Watch him go in. He's continuing to go in. Parting gift. He's still lurking up at the top, just completely harassing every single member. Shields on. March of the Black King getting a few heals, but Zaze not relenting.
Yeah.
This is...
I don't even know if this is the lack of lockdown, or rather stun on Zaze, or what is this, but it's not going to be easy to play against this team right now. Level 16 just hit here by Conbox SCA. They have 3 ultis and about 5 seconds before Leoric respawns.
They find themselves down a talent tier, and after that last altar phase and then them obtaining 5 shots, so they had a little bit of a lead, so it's staggered right now, 9 core health. They are looking for anybody to walk through. They're going to hop directly on it. The slide in, though.
Got stopped by the root now, and a mosh pit connecting. It's a zoning one. Twilight Dream connects beautifully. Ancestral onto Yu Yang is back alive, but CW dropping very low in the meantime. And Zappy having to pull back out. There goes the Gus for the disengage, but Zappy probably going to go down here. Okay, the slow, and Zaze manages to get out alive.
I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted to watch. I was like, is he going to? Yeah, he did. He did.
All right, this is where Conbox will have an insane lead against Resurgence.
Do you think if he would have died there, it would have just like all chatted #worth?
I don't know. Maybe.
But there they go. Mur diving in on the back line again. He did go heavy impact, so when he dwarf toss now, he will stun people that he lands on, just setting up more follow-ups. If you can get the follow-up roots from either Malfurion or Arthas, give plenty of targets. Hey, there's some roots.
Some bursts. Zaze going in again. CW playing it safe this time around. 11 against 24 in terms of call health, and you see CW pulling back in with the Brave Walk. They have no respect for that fort there. It's amazing.
Resurgence is constantly running away. They have 0 answers. Yes, Leoric is great frontline control for Murd and Arthas, but you are not comboing off of anything that you're doing. Yes, ETC has landed a few mosh pits, but either the calls aren't there and you're prioritizing the wrong target, or you just aren't on the same page. The burst damage from Falstad is not there. Greymane is not confirming the kills. It's just Leoric does not offer that, and Leoric, of course, with Hardened Bones, not a huge threat there. But it's just a Resurgence. Their answer needs to come from within. They need to regroup and find kills. They're not out of it, but they sure as hell are into it right now. And so they need to like make a call, commit on to one hero, not Murda, not Arthas, but find you a hero to collapse on and confirm the kill.
It has to be them Malfurion. That's the weakest link there. And it's just so much skin mechanical help on the rest though. Plants on the Yu Yang. CW goes in a little bit. Falstad swings by, barrels back out because the fort wind now is looking for the gusto. Mur with the stun lock in. Capricorn gonna be okay, not for long. Julian not using the Ancestral on Capri instead. Martin the Black King in the front line. CW goes down. Julian holding on to his Ancestral forever. And at this point, okay, he keeps Zappy alive.
You have
That's
no
not
damage.
really no man's land. Some burst going in. Mur still okay. Pretty healthy. Is safety for the DPS, I think.
The good news is Tracer was the one that went down. The bad news is you have bell towers right in front of you. Basically keeps, you can't walk past them. Babel,
altars.
there
This is
are
game.
there are 2 altars that are just going to be channeled.
This is game. This is
Like,
game right
you,
here.
You can't walk past those areas. Like you actually have to come down and around.
Yeah,
but
it's over. Arthur summoning the bottom bell tower. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like it's going to be 2-0. Conbox SEA. Wow. The very dominating performance today. I say they look good. What did I tell you? Conbox going to win, right?
Yeah, like I said, I'll tell you after game 2 who the winner would be.